Cool. How's it, everyone? So my name is Xander, and today I'm going to talk about the workplace automation. So AI is on the rise, and with technologies like Copilot, GPT-3, and DALL-E becoming widely available, harnessing the power of AI has never been easier. Now, among all these developments, one lurking question arises. Will AI ever replace software engineers? Now, it seems that the general consensus among us developers is no, not a chance. Now, whether or not that's just wishful thinking is besides the point, but the fact is, besides writing code, software engineers have many additional responsibilities. And it's these additional responsibilities that I want to talk about today. While it might still be a while before we're completely replaced, a lot of our responsibilities can already be offloaded to artificial intelligence and other automation techniques. Which brings us to ALFRED. ALFRED is a POC application that I developed using Python specifically for automating these additional responsibilities. Cool. Here you can see a quick diagram depicting some of the additional responsibilities that I aim to automate, along with the technologies used to achieve that. Now, I dubbed all these additional responsibilities chores. Not only because that's what they feel like, but I mean, it's only appropriate since ALFRED is a butler and, chores. Cool. So the first chore on ALFRED's list is everyone's favorite, timesheets. Now, I specifically targeted this chore first since it's probably the one that I'm worst at. And I'm sure Tom would back me up on this. So basically, the problem is every Monday you need to log your time worked on various projects for the previous week. The solution for this was quite simple. First of all, we're utilizing Grindstone. And for those of you that don't know, Grindstone is a free desktop widget that you can use to log your active screen time. I know a lot of people use it, myself included, but unfortunately, this still involves the manual process of actually capturing it on the iCapture website. And this is where ALFRED comes in. So Grindstone writes all its logs to a local database file, which we can easily read and parse that file. We can then use Selenium to start the headless version of Chrome to log into the iCapture website, where we will automatically capture our entries every Monday. Chore automated and pretty elegantly, if you ask me. Okay, the next chore is communications. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are tired of responding to the same emails over and over again, or maybe you're a more senior guy and you're just fed up with all the silly questions you get. Don't worry, ALFRED can help. For this chore, I'm using a really cool and very powerful conversational AI called Rasa. Basically, ALFRED will monitor your communication channels, and once a message is received, it will pass it along to Rasa, which would return an appropriate response. Now, Rasa also comes with Rasa X, which is an interface built on top of it, which makes it super easy for you to train your models in real time and set up your conversational paths to your liking. Now, the initial conversational model is trained with a large English corpus, meaning that off the bat, we can easily handle small talk with your coworkers. Now, some of the other features that it provides are scheduled messages, which are pretty self-explanatory, auto responses based on the conversational paths that you defined, and lastly, fail safes. Now, basically what this is, so conversational AIs decide which route to follow based on a probability estimate. So each response has an estimate attached to it. And that's just basically the AI saying that I'm 60% sure that this is the correct response. Now, we really don't want ALFRED to send responses back to your boss with a score that low. That's where fail safes come in. So essentially what happens, once the probability threshold isn't reached, we could send an SOS alert to your phone, requiring immediate human intervention. On to the next chore. Now, the next chore is keep alive. Basically, various chat applications change your status to away when you're not actively working on your computer. Now, I was a bit reluctant to include this as a chore, since essentially all you need to do is move your mouse. But nevertheless, that sounds like a manual process to me, and we're all about that automation life. Plus, we don't want people thinking you're not available when you are, in fact, ready to go in a chatbot version. So the solution for this was also very simple. Basically, ALFRED will start running a small script that constantly sends keystroke commands to your system, essentially simulating that you are, in fact, working very hard and not playing Call of Duty. On to chore number 4, meetings. Now, I don't need to elaborate too much on this problem, but basically every day you have to attend meetings and actually remember what was said. Now, this chore probably has my favorite solution. Firstly, we can, like before, use Selenium to open a headless version of Chrome and join the meeting using the link. ALFRED will then record the entire session. Next, we can take the recorded session and pass it to Descript. Now, this will take the video recording and generate the transcription for us with everything that was said during the meeting, which brings us to the final step of the solution, where we ask OpenAI's DaVinci engine to generate the summary based on that text that could even be understood by a second grader. Now we successfully condensed the 3-hour meeting into a short paragraph. Chore automated. The last chore I'm going to be looking at is tickets. Now, even though ALFRED's other defense mechanism can fend off most, occasionally some work will get through to you and assigned in the form of a ticket. Since automatically deleting them and assigning them to someone else is not really an option, there isn't much we can do regarding automation. But I wanted to touch on some ideas anyway. So one idea is, if a bug was found in your system and a ticket's created and assigned to you, ALFRED could parse the content of these tickets and look for predefined identifiers or keywords. Basically, if it identifies something like an AWS trace ID or request IDs or even date ranges, it could automatically query whichever logging server you're using and attach those logs to your ticket. Another idea is around recurring tickets. Now, depending on your role as an engineer or support technician, you might get a lot of repeating tickets. So these are tickets that you've received multiple times in the past, but the solution is always the same. So assuming you tagged a few of these past tickets and link the solution script, ALFRED could use a clustering technique like k-means, classify the newly assigned ticket, and automatically execute the corresponding solution script. But yeah, I'm not really sure whether this is crossing some line, so let's just leave it at that. Cool, and then just a few closing remarks from my side. First off, believe it or not, ALFRED is not perfect and probably never will be. There are way too many chores and they are ever evolving with a bunch of variables attached to it. With that said, AI is most definitely still in its infancy. And every day they are increasing in complexity and learning at rates which we could never match. However, I believe all these developments would rather serve as an aid and not a replacement. I want to end off with a quote. AI would replace developers as soon as clients can properly describe their problems. Thank you very much.